I heard this phrase, it ran in my family until it ran into me. You're the difference maker. You're called to set a new standard. You're the exception. Everyone in your family was negative except you. Everyone was broke except you. Everyone addicted except you. Everyone bitter except you. I am looking at exceptional people. People that stand out. People that defy the odds. People that break barriers. I want to talk to you today about breaking negative cycles. Most of the things we struggle with didn't start with us. They've been passed down in our family line. You don't get to choose your battles. You didn't get to pick what you'll have to deal with. Just as you inherit your parents' DNA, which determines your eye color, how tall you'll be, what kind of hair you'll have, you also inherit attitudes, habits, and behaviors from those that have gone before you. Research shows how depression can be passed down. Anger, low self-esteem, addictions. It was in your bloodline and it showed up with you. The scripture calls this an iniquity. That means a hereditary weakness. I've seen families that can't get along. Parents arguing, cousins upset, siblings bitter, grandparents at odds. That's a spirit of strife, a spirit of division that keeps getting passed down. I knew this young man growing up. His father was indicted for fraud and went to prison. This young man told me how his grandfather was the same way. He was so upset with them, couldn't understand why they'd make poor choices, why they'd cheat people. 20 years later, a friend called and said, "Did you hear about so-and-so? He's in trouble for fraud." He didn't choose it, it chose him. It will continue to go from generation to generation until someone rises up and says, "I'm going to break this negative cycle." It didn't start with you. The good news is it can end with you. You can be the one that affects generations to come. You can make it easier on your children and grandchildren. And it's good to look back at your family history and see, what are we good at? What do we excel in? And what are the weaknesses? Where do I see a pattern of mediocrity, compromise, and failure? When you understand those same spirits are coming after you, then you can be on guard. You can be prepared. Say, "No thanks, depression. You're not welcome here. No thanks. I'm not giving in to this addiction, this compromise. No thanks. I'm not living inferior, insecure, angry, bitter." Don't let that iniquity continue on. It's been in your family line, but the reason you're hearing this is so that you can put an end to it. I heard this phrase, it ran in my family until it ran into me. You're the difference maker. You're called to set a new standard. You're the exception. Everyone in your family was negative except you. Everyone was broke except you. Everyone addicted except you. Everyone bitter except you. I am looking at exceptional people. People that stand out. People that defy the odds. People that break barriers. Numbers chapter 25, the Israelites had gotten off course. This false prophet named Balaam encouraged the Midianite women to lure the Israelites into worshiping their idols. They fell right into that trap. They began feasting with the Midianites, worshiping the god Baal. There were all kinds of immorality and compromise going on, and God was very displeased. This plague broke out, and 24,000 Israelites were killed. Looked like that would continue on. Moses warned the people that they needed to change, but they weren't listening. One of the Israelites took a Midianite woman into his tent in defiance of what Moses said. Everyone was standing around watching, wondering what was going to happen. Then a young man named Phinehas rose up, went into the tent, and put an end to it. The scripture says Phinehas had the courage to step in, and the plague was stopped. All this compromising, mediocrity, and one person stepped in and said, "I'm going to honor God. I'm going to live with integrity. I'm going to do the right thing," and the plague ended. You can stop the plague in your family. You can be the Phinehas. There may be negative baggage, people compromising, addictions, mediocrity. It just takes one Phinehas, one man, one woman to break the cycle of defeat. My friend of mine was raised in a good family. When he was a toddler, his father in his early 20s got a job at a large transportation company. He was at an entry-level position out washing the vehicles. He's a hard worker, always on time, went the extra mile. Those were the good things that had been passed down. We all have these positive attributes in our family line, people that pass down courage, talent, good attitudes. The key is to take the positive, build on the good things, and leave the negative behind. This man's parents and grandparents, they were good people, but they struggled with alcohol. Over time, they both ended up becoming alcoholics. That was the environment he was raised in. Well, he received promotion after promotion, from out washing the cars to supervising the department, then head of operations. 10 years later, he was in senior management. Everything was going great. His family was blessed. But in this new position, the people he worked with would go out several times a week at lunch and drink. They called it liquid lunch. Now, he never touched alcohol, knowing what his parents and grandparents struggled with. He didn't want to seem odd, like he was too square, so he started drinking. Just a few times a week, no big deal. He didn't realize that alcohol gene was lying dormant in his DNA. He was predisposed to alcoholism. That was passed down to him. He made the mistake of waking up that gene. He started drinking more and more. The scripture says, don't give the enemy a foothold. Don't open the door. If you crack it a little, he's going to push and push. He'd love for all that negative baggage to go from generation to generation. Before long, it started affecting this father. He started showing up late for work, started missing appointments. He got to where some days he wouldn't come home from work, wasn't with the family anymore. Got so bad, he lost his job, started living in shelters. My friend told me how they were the perfect family, living the American dream, and then alcoholism destroyed their life. My friend is in the entertainment industry now, and he's very successful. He said, Joel, I don't touch alcohol, not because of religious reasons, but I know I'm predisposed to alcoholism. When you look back in your family line and you see things that have caused heartache and pain, things that have kept people from their potential, it's important to recognize that those genes are passed down. You're predisposed to that. But here's the beauty. That doesn't mean it's going to automatically happen. You get to choose whether you activate that gene or whether you leave it lying dormant. His father activated it and it ruined his life. His son chose to leave it dormant and he's living a blessed, free, favor-filled life. Alcoholism ran in his family until it ran into him. He was a Phineas. He had the courage to step up and put an end to it. My friend told how in the entertainment industry, practically every event, every meeting, there's alcohol. People expect him to drink. I asked him how he dealt with it. He said, Joel, I'm bold about it. When people pressure me, I say, listen, I come from a family of alcoholics. I've seen it ruin their life, and I'm not going to let it ruin mine. When you look back at your history, there may be things that are fine for other people, but you know you shouldn't do it because you've been predisposed to it. You don't want to wake up that gene. Be aware and be diligent. Don't play a battle in your bloodline. You didn't choose it, but you can win it. The forces that are for you are greater than forces that are against you. And if you'll rise up and be a Phineas, I believe and declare, like God did for him, there's going to be a blessing on your family line. You're going to see favor that you've never seen. Addictions are being broken. Depression, strife, low self-esteem. You're going to rise higher and become all you were created to be in Jesus.